So this is about the fourth time I've had to remake this video. I'm out and about eating my lunch, some salmon, but the dogs seem rather interested in it, so maybe this wasn't the best idea. But anyway, I'm out now. So in this video I'm just going to be talking about what's got me to the point where I am now, where I'm eating raw meat and fish. So I'll start from the very start of the early diagnosis in 2015. So around April I was diagnosed with osteosarcoma in my right tibia. Now I've been feeling a bit of pain in my knee for a while, but I just put it down to playing lots of sport at the time for my A-level PE. But obviously it carried on getting worse, and I just couldn't put up with it any longer. So after a few scans and things, I was sort of sent to Birmingham, the orthopaedic hospital, and I think they did a biopsy and confirmed it was osteosarcoma. I was then sent to the Christie in Manchester, and from there on I had pretty heavy going chemotherapy from I think it was May through until December, and in between the chemotherapy sessions in sort of July, August, I had limb sparing surgery on my knee, where sort of like the top of my tibia bone was taken off and a small portion of my lower femur, and I had quite a bit of metal fitted. So I'll try and post a picture of that to show what my knee looks like nowadays, but that might have to be on another platform, but that might be interesting. So alongside the chemotherapy I was also having immunotherapy, which was supposed to obviously train your immune system to fight the cancer cells, and I think I had that from, say, August through until about May the next year, and that wasn't anywhere near as bad as the chemotherapy though, so I didn't mind that too much. But obviously once I'd finished all that, finished my treatment, I thought I was back to good health, so went about living a normal life, went off to uni. But you know, quite early on in my uni days, within a month or two, I realised I wasn't quite as healthy as I'd like to have been, so I came back home, planning on going back the next year. But my health just sort of generally declined throughout that year, and then I think it was around early June I got diagnosed with another lung met, well, my first lung met, and planned to have surgery on that, which I did end up having in, I think again that was late July, yeah, around then. But at that point the doctors had sort of said things weren't looking fantastic, and the average prognosis was, I think it was 20% of people lived over 5 years, which wasn't too appealing to me at the time. So I looked into a few alternative methods of healing, which I tried quite a few of them, but unfortunately the main one was I went vegan, which seems to have actually been much more of a hindrance than helped me in the end. But so that went on for quite a while. You know, I could still feel my health going downhill whilst I was on a vegan diet, but I just kind of thought that was natural. I thought, I'm pretty ill, I'm obviously going to continue going downhill. I thought I just need to go vegan harder, you know. I thought I was just doing it wrong, as they like to say. But yeah, then got to around February time. You know, this had been, say, I'd been vegan from shortly after my operation, which was, say, mid-August through until February, when I was really not feeling well, had to leave work. sorry, it's a bit tricky walking with one lung or one lung function. But so right, once I'd left work, I've been still reading quite a lot, seeing people obviously healing themselves with different methods, not necessarily from cancer, but different illnesses. And the most popular one at the time seemed to be raw veganism. So I sort of got my head around that and thought, oh, that was the answer. But didn't seem to be. It seemed to be a very big mistake. So I must have done that until very early June, when I started to feel quite a bad pain in my sort of left chest region, sort of around there, and sort of in the ribs. So I put that off for a little while, but I'd stopped going for my scans at the Christie, as I've been getting a bit too nervous with it all, and I just thought I needed to put it out of my head, which obviously was not a good idea at all, but hey ho. So by the time I did get back around to having another X-ray, the tumour had grown much more quickly than ever before in my lung, and was too big to be operated on, really. Now I kind of went home, thought I was still confident that I could get myself better with veganism, God knows why, but got to look back and laugh nowadays, but it wasn't too great at the time. But shortly after that diagnosis, things seemed to stay pretty much the same. I just have to open this gate. But we went away on holiday with my family to Wales, and sort of during that time I'd started having quite bad what I could only really describe as sort of like fits, where all my muscles, to start again in case you couldn't hear that, where all my muscles sort of locked up a bit, and it was very painful. So, and that sort of continued to worsen for a period of time, and I gradually lost a lot of energy, went downhill more and more quite quickly. And all this was still on a vegan or plant-based diet, not necessarily raw at this point, but it was, yeah. Sorry if the camera angles aren't so great, but might need to improve those. So then sort of we got back from holiday, and I'd still been having these spasms a bit with my muscles, and sort of generally my energy just went, just non-existent levels, and I just could hardly lift myself up out of a seat and so on, and the pain was generally getting much worse, sort of spreading up sort of from my chest and up my shoulder and up my neck and sort of into my lower jaw, which was really not a lot of fun. But I went back to the Christie, where they were going to try and sort out my pain medications. So I had to stay a night there. But I don't want to get into a slag off match here, but at the time I'd discussed that morphine did not agree with me, and I ended up having some morphine tablets whilst I was there. Became incredibly sick. Couldn't eat. Could hardly take a sip of water. Even drinking became very painful, which is a very odd thing. Couldn't quite understand it at the time. And shortly after, I ended up in in a hospice. I went straight to a hospice from the Christie. Stayed in there for quite a while. They continued to try and sort out the pain medication and so on, but that didn't work fantastically, but we did get it sorted in the end. And then so I left there, came home, struggled for quite a few months from, say, August. I just got back in time for my birthday, and then I stayed vegan from August all the way through to, I think it was to the 1st of January. Eating meat was my New Year's resolution. And so obviously, as you can tell, I've tried pretty much every diet, every way of eating. And you know, around Christmas time, and you know, even from October, I was pretty sure that, you know, I wasn't going to make it more than a few weeks at those times. Some days I thought, well, probably a bit more, but now some days I went to bed and thought, God, really might not wake up in the morning. But fortunately, I got through all those difficult days and made it to eating raw meat, which can't say I've really looked back from. Energy levels have increased majorly. Sort of, but overall happiness has increased. Still, you know, still not half as happy as I'd like to be. So I'm still got a lot of healing to go, but definitely moving in the right direction. So obviously there's a lot more reasoning behind why I've gone raw, but this was just a quick video just to talk about my diagnosis of osteo, and there's more detail to that, but don't want to bore all my new subscribers. So thanks for watching, and I'll try and get a few more follow-up videos of, say, how to make high meat and how to eat it, what's the best type, how often I eat in a day, any other supplements or anything like that I take. So I hope these videos are helpful to people, which is great. So thanks guys.